Hello and welcome to another edition of the Full Force News Burst, brought to you by GeneralsJoes.com, with me as your host, Chris Bum Fight McLeod, aka Diagnostic 80. Joining me today to tell us all about their amazing reveals at Toy Fair 2019 are Boss Fight Studios' very own Catrina Exhausted Arana, Erik Exhausted Arana, and Andrew Exhausted Arana Franks. So without further ado, let's get stuck into this news burst.
Congratulations, you're part of the marriage, Andrew.
Oh boy.
You're their new child.
You have to have figure skating lessons and piano now.
Well, I am really good at both of those.
Following on from our coverage of New York Toy Fair 2019, we have managed to lasso the Boss Fight crew so they can tell us all about their experience and incredible reveals over the weekend just gone. Guys, thank you for jumping on to chat with me tonight. I know you're all probably destroyed from the weekend and more as it finished officially on Tuesday. First off, how was it?
So much. A lot.
How was it? It was just all of it. All of it was there, and it was much. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. I couldn't have worded it any better.
I'm so tired still. I hope this doesn't slow down the podcast.
Nothing could slow it down any more than it already is. So, as far as I'm aware, Erik and Catrina, you were at the show, and Andrew was stuffed into a cupboard back at the office and told he couldn't come out.
Exactly.
Even for food or drink, is that correct?
Andrew was there to fend off the mice while we were away.
I got bad news, guys. They run the office now.
I just picture Andrew in like a Three Musketeers outfit with a foil, trying to fence back mice, are also wearing tiny Three Musketeer outfits.
Now that's an image I can't get out of my head.
It's a scary episode, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
So now that Master Splinter and the crew have taken over the building, I mean, Andrew, was this something you were upset to miss out on, or were you kind of quite relieved in the end?
No, I hate things, Chris. and so I was happy to have an excuse to not do this little bit of travel, but also, you know, someone needed to be back at home base to do some support stuff. I spent literally an entire day writing press releases and editing photos.
I can imagine.
Getting panels ready for us.
Yeah.
Well, because of that, I mean, Erik and Catrina, you guys must have been must have had your work cut out for you. I mean, how was setup? I mean, the logistical nightmare right there.
Oh my goodness. So
Setup.
Oh my. So we were really good, and we left super early, and it was Catrina.
Got there at like noon, and we had all night to set up, right?
Yeah, it was Catrina, Sarah Brown, our marketer, and myself, and then later on Fred and Michelle.
They showed up the next day.
They got there the next morning, but we get Friday. We can set up. First,
before you even get to the booth, there are like 10 parking spots in New York City to unload your truck.
In all of New York City.
Well, yeah, but the Javits allotted 10 spots, maybe 20, if I'm being generous.
Wow.
And you have, from the time you pull in, 30 minutes.
Wow.
And one of you has to stay in the car.
Wow.
So quickly... Erik and I hauled everything down the stairs because we were not close to the door.
Classic.
So down the stairs, around the corner, by the food court, past the bathrooms.
Between the rocks, around the lake. It was...
9 3/4, take a train.
Wow. Wouldn't it have been easier just to let the birds fly in there and drop the ring off, you know, themselves, rather than go on that massive quest?
So that was the easy part. We got all our boxes to our booth.
Wow.
Then we when you go to Toy Fair, you kind of pre-order all your fixtures. You don't bring a bunch, like when we go to cons, we bring our own grid and stuff like that. But at Toy Fair, you basically check boxes for what you want in your booth. So we wanted pedestals, glass cases, the slat wall that holds the shelves.
Sure.
And the whole booth, because we have a lot of items, depended on the slat walls and the shelves. If anybody's looked at our booths, you can see, or at our booth, you can see that the whole back wall is covered with our product.
Yeah, I'll flash an image up of you at the booth, Catrina, as we're talking.
Great. So we Get there, everything looks great. There's pedestals, there's glass cases, there's no slat walls and shelves yet, but we were there at like noon, and it said that things would be delivered by 2.
Yeah.
So we start doing what we can in the glass cases. We aren't too worried about the slat walls.
Right.
And around 1:30, Erik decided just to go check and see, because we were trying to decide if maybe we should get some lunch while we wait.
Right.
So they're not ready. Which, 1:30, we're still like,
they're busy.
It's not late yet.
It's fine.
There's a lot of booths.
Yeah, there's a lot of booths. There's a union that's got to put everything up, and it's a lot. So we're like, okay.
No big deal.
Yeah.
We've got a lot to do still. We'll start opening packages and setting figures aside, set up diodes. Now, we can only set up so much, though, because in order to put up the slat walls, we have to move all our stuff out of the way. So setting up the diodes, we can only really lay the figures down.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to fall on the floor anyway. So we got everything opened, and it's, probably 4 o'clock when we've done everything that we can do. So Erik runs back to check again. What about the slat walls? Also, we're missing some tables and chairs. Not so important, but we checked on that too. So they're like, no, the slat walls are coming. We're like, okay, guess we'll something. So we go downstairs to something in our booth for a while. 7:30, still no slat walls.
Oh my god!
And at this point, we're a little hungry. We've been here since noon. There's no food court that day.
Setup day, the food and stuff's not open.
That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
The Javits Center is located somehow
in an oasis.
In an oasis of restaurants and bodegas and stuff. There's nothing for like
you can't run
3 to 4 blocks in any direction.
Literally, the only place in Manhattan you can't just step outside and have food.
Yeah,
that's strategic placement right there, isn't it? So that they can. Yeah.
Erik goes. We've been sending him back and forth he flirted with the girl enough that they're friends, so he's the one that's going back.
Oh, he was my type.
And, the slat wall's still coming. I go to a vending machine, and some poor guy is looking for the vending machine with me, and he's like, oh, my stuff's not here. And I'm like, are you waiting for slat walls? He's like, yeah, I'm waiting for slat walls. They told us they ran out.
Wow.
And they're not going to have it.
While this is happening, Sarah comes back to the booth and says they ran out of slat wall.
Yeah, at
the same time.
Brilliant.
So then I will say this. Through all of this, the workers, the guys who did bring us our tables during this time and did bring us they brought us the setup, but not the slat wall. Like, so the frame was up, but we didn't have the slat wall, but we had the shelves and we had the
name, the header card.
We had all this stuff, but we couldn't put it all together without the slat wall.
Ugh.
So it was everybody was
they
awesome,
were all polite
and they
apologetic,
were all trying to help,
and they were working hard.
Yeah, and they were making us laugh. We were making them laugh, and we were all joking around. But at the same time, it was very frustrating, and it was frustrating for them too, because they just didn't have the stuff to give to the people.
Yeah. And a lot of the other vendors were getting very rude and belligerent about it, but there was nothing for them to do. They were waiting. Apparently, they were waiting for a shipment from another warehouse of more slat walls. So all they could do is continue to say, it's coming, but it's not here. So at that point, we're like, okay, we really need some food and drinks now. And if it's not coming, let's get out of here.
Yeah, so we unpacked what we could and took off for the night.
Yeah.
Wow.
Went and had a lot of drinks and then came back. And luckily, by the time we got in, they were hung.
Yeah. The next morning, we came in at 7:30 or 8. The place didn't open until 9, and the slat wall was up.
So we did the speediest, fast.
Yeah, get everything out of get all the stuff up on the shelves, start unpacking figures, and start setting stuff up and fix it
as we go.
Wow.
We had meetings scheduled with some fairly important people at 9 a.m.
So we had to have at least the stuff out.
That's crazy. So once everything was set up and you were kind of ready to go, what was the actual show like itself? I mean, were you guys run off your feet? Was it like a busy event? I mean, is it just industry professionals? I know some of the public and press are privy to it as well, right?
It's mostly press and buyers for companies and
licensors.
Licensors.
It is toy industry.
Yeah.
We didn't see anybody that wasn't average person off the street.
Right, okay.
A lot of bloggers and news people, but that they I think a lot of them were only there for one day when the bigger companies will only allow them in on press day.
Right.
We saw them all weekend, but not as many.
So in that case, is it packed? I mean, is it like like the usual kind of conventions and those kind of things? It's you can't move for people. Is it a similar kind of thing?
No, it's not body to body people like that. It is very busy. There are a lot of people, but it's not crammed like a convention because not everybody's invited in.
Yeah.
But it is constant and
a lot of constant talking about the product you're having to do as well. I take it.
Oh, the spiel. The number of times we had to do do you know who Boss Fight is?
Yeah.
If not, let me start here. You have? Well, let me start here instead.
Yeah, and you have to be very. It was very
100% professional.
Yeah, it's not like we are at normal cons and stuff. We have to
naked, running around, weighing on people.
Yeah. Like, a beer in one hand and.
They did sell wine upstairs, so there was a day
nice.
full of wine.
Yeah, there was.
But we have this really great licensing agent we've been working with, and she had scheduled us meetings nearly every half hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
The whole weekend.
So if we didn't have a meeting with a licensor, we had a meeting with a distributor. Or
we were walking through interviews with the press.
Yeah.
So were the meetings held on the floor at the booth, or did you have to go to like different rooms and stuff like that?
Sometimes there are a few meeting rooms, which Sarah and Anita handled most of those. And then there were times where it was in our booth, times where it was at another company's booth.
Right.
We were across from the food court, so that made a great meeting area for us.
Yeah.
Let me take you to our office, across from Korean tacos.
It's super professional. It's a really professional environment, and there you are sitting outside a friggin' McDonald's or something. But
it didn't faze any of them, though. This is what they were there for, and it's what they did all weekend. And we're not always used to... I don't know, we're little, we're a small company. We're not always used to some of these big entities taking us seriously. And I will say that there was of all the people we talked to, everyone took us seriously.
Yeah.
They all talked to us as if we were something.
God, good job I wasn't there with you then. Bloody hell. You'd have...
Well, yeah.
You guys sure
we say that when we're anywhere. God, Chris isn't here.
Andrew is right. You pulled the wool over their eyes right there, totally.
It was hard. That's why there was so much wine on the third day.
Oh my! Well, I'm surprised that didn't throw a spanner in the works. In all honesty, and then all of a sudden Erik comes back and he's got no clothes on, like Peter Griffin when he works at that brewery.
I did at one point stick my hand down Fred's back pocket.
Yeah,
that was exciting.
That was about the most unprofessional it got. Right. This is sexual harassment for one of our sculptors.
We're the owner.
So
We're partners. Allowed.
Partners.
That's in the small print. I should have seen. Okay, so the actual product you guys were showing off looked unreal. I mean, there was so much stuff that you were revealing for the first time. Take us through some of the product reveals, if you could, please.
Do you know Boss Fight?
All right, I'll make this easier for you. Let's start with I Am Brilliance, Catrina.
Okay.
All right, I Am Brilliance is, we kind of did a quick release.
Oh, no, not the toy line. I was just saying I Am Brilliance. I was just talking about myself.
Oh, okay.
Kidding, carry on.
We did a quick tease of it at Geek Girl Con, and this time was the first outing of the full prototype.
Looked great.
She's not finalized what we showed. It was glued hair. It was, not the final in any way, but we wanted to get her out in front of the buyers, the distributors who are looking for, we love our hack stuff and people love our hack stuff, but a lot of times when the buyers look at it, they go, this is great work, it's beautiful, but why should I care about it? Right, yeah. So in order to be a successful, full-rounded toy company, we need things like Sam and Max and Bucky to show that we can do licenses. We need Doll to show that we can do girls' toys. Yeah. We need more than just a line of action figures.
Oh, I totally understand and agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. So basically you were doing the old kind of Kenner and Hasbro move where you grab another toy and you just paint it differently and you put it in front of You put it in front of on the product catalog and you take a picture of it. So it's like
a bunch of repainted Dukes of Hazzard
adventure people,
Cobra Troopers.
You just got like a Chips figure and called it a Cobra Trooper, right? Yeah. No, I'm kidding. But she looks great. Really, really impressed with that. And also, like, okay, so with I Am Brilliance, there's all that background that you're kind of bringing into it with the professions to kind of give young females that kind of aspiration kind of feeling and everything like that. So, I mean, I take it that was constantly having to be talked about as well, right?
Oh, yes. Every time, every person. Yeah. It's... I can't even tell you how many times we re-said these same words over and over again.
I bet you're really happy to be on this episode then, aren't you? Like, immediately afterwards.
But the spiel about, we're trying to show girls that there are more jobs out there than the ones that they're familiar with, the ones that you don't think of using the big words, the sciences, the STEM. In better words than that, my good spiel is gone now. But in case you haven't noticed.
I'll just edit something else in there. No, I'm kidding. That's fine. On top of that, let's just flip over to Andrew quickly here, and obviously there was some really good Bucky reveals on the show as well. Mimi looks unreal. Like, she looks just brilliant. I'm so excited to see her painted. And also a cartoon deco Toad Trooper, which was really cool. So, I mean, take us through those, Andrew, if you could, like all the reason, like why those figures, should we say, for now?
Sure. They were the ones that were finished first. No, so, we've been actually public about this in that we've had a bit of a mixed response to the Redecos and the Bucky line.
Yeah.
So we wanted to give those, for the most part, a little bit of a rest for a few months and, sort of reevaluate some strategy and stuff. We had a few that were planned, like you've seen, like the stealth Deadeye.
Yeah. And
we decided to sort of put on ice for a while. But the cartoon Toad sort of still felt very meaningful, and we saw really, really good sales.
I can imagine, yeah.
So we went ahead and we got that one painted up and approved, and we were sort of looking for where exactly that needs to go.
Sure.
And then sort of as we were looking for that, the Mimi sculpt actually got done very quickly.
Awesome. Went
very smoothly. So those two will probably ship in a very similar time frame.
Yeah.
And we've gotten a few questions also, like, why Mimi LaFleur? She's like a more supporting character. And the answer is that she's really cool and that there aren't a ton of female characters in Bucky to choose from.
Yeah.
So doing her sooner rather than later, was definitely a priority for us.
I would actually counter and say that she's a really good one to bring out now because of the kind of almost like the mirror image to Bucky O'Hare kind of thing. Like they're both captains. They're both very similar in their kind of the way they are like character-wise. So like I think it's a really good idea because obviously Jenny, now that we've had that character in action figure form, which, all Bucky O'Hare fans are very f***ing happy that is the case. Having Mimi as well just, again, brings even more to that kind of side of things, but she's not just a first mate this time, she's a captain. So it's even, I don't know, there's even more gravitas to it as well, which is even better. Plus, the fact that you've got Bruiser coming out too, I think is a great thing where you've got, a lot, like you said, the mixed reception tended to come from people saying like, oh, we want more kind of new characters, we want more new original molds and stuff. So the fact that you've got Bruiser coming out and you've got Mimi coming out, again, like you say, pretty close to each other. I mean, Bruiser's going to be a lot sooner, obviously, but if Mimi's going to be coming out around the same time as the Toon Deco repaint, then that's another original character we're going to have. So this is all really, really good news from my point of view anyway.
The other thing Mimi does is it makes a statement, very strongly that we do want to go deep on this line.
Oh, big time, yeah.
And hopefully the sales will continue to be there to support us doing that. So
awesome. Okay, so flipping back over from Bucky O'Hare. Well, actually, let's stay within your remit, Andrew, and let's talk about Sam and Max quickly, because you revealed some kind of like almost like production samples. I would say, am I right in saying they're production samples?
No, those are hand painted hard copies.
Oh, okay.
So tooling will be starting soon on those, but it has not started yet. Funny thing about those is It took us a while to get to the hard copies.
Yeah.
And we got them. We saw how they fit together, and we were really pleased with that. And then something about these characters, once they were painted, they absolutely came to life.
Agreed. 100%, yeah.
And we're really, really happy with how they're looking. And I know Steve is pretty happy too, and the response that we've gotten to them online has been really strong. People who weren't aware of us before, are seeing all the social media shares for Sam and Max, because it's a big deal to have a beloved property that's never had toys before.
Yeah, totally.
They're actually, at this point, there aren't that many of those left. So
True. It's also I feel like it's prime time for the nostalgia for this particular brand as well. Like, it's almost like there's been a lot of 90s properties that have been returning recently. Even just things like, like the 90s carded Toy Biz Marvel Legends that they're going to be doing as well, kind of popped up at Toy Fair as well, which that, something we'll talk about later. But, I feel like there's a really strong vibe for that particular era. And Sam & Max was quite big in that time period.
Definitely that sort of factors. And the interesting thing about Sam & Max, though, is they've actually had enough major exposure things over a really broad period of time.
Yeah.
Where it was the comic where Steve started it in the early 80s, and then the original LucasArts game happened in the 90s, and then a little bit later in the 90s, the season of animation on Fox Kids happened.
Yeah.
Maybe about, 5 years ago, they started doing the Telltale Sam & Max games.
Yeah.
And so we're actually seeing a really interesting cross-section of ages of people who are responding to the Sam & Max figures. So that's really neat.
Awesome.
The response at Toy Fair for both Bucky and Sam & Max, it was immense.
If we didn't have a meeting with somebody, it was Bucky and Sam & Max that brought them to our booth.
Aww.
We were in a weird off to the side location. However, we were right next to a staircase and right below a level of the food court. So people would come downstairs because they saw Bucky O'Hare from the upstairs level.
Wow.
And the first thing they would say is like, "Oh my God, I was just standing up here and saw Bucky O'Hare."
Wow. I mean, it's funny for me to think that someone in the toy industry isn't aware of those licenses and who they're currently being, what's being done with them.
We're still small potatoes.
We're small. We're not mass distributed yet. We're getting most of our word out through social media, and a lot of those suits in those bigger places don't care so much about the social media. They care about what comes across in a catalog,
in the trade magazine,
or what's in Walmart or Target. Yeah.
Oddly, the guy who originally designed the packaging for Hasbro came by. He was a graphic artist. His first job ever. His first job ever at Hasbro was designing Bucky O'Hare packaging.
Oh, I saw his post on, I think, Instagram. Yeah.
Then there was another guy came by, and he was like the distribution manager and sales or something like that, and Bucky was his line.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was a really
They were really excited to see it again.
That's brilliant.
So he thought it was so cool that we kind of
did an homage to his
packaging. Yeah,
that's so cool. I mean, did you tell him about, I think he mentioned Brian in the post as well, didn't he, who designed the kind of packaging. Yeah, awesome. Let's continue with the product stuff you guys revealed. And obviously, let's jump into hacks, because I mean there is so much to talk about with hacks. Now, first up, the new fantasy stuff. Let's talk about that. You've got it mixed in with basics. You've got a whole new bunch of waves coming out, and even fantasy blanks, right?
Yep, we have the customizer series and with the blanks and the accessory sets. We have the Gladiator kit coming, which is already on pre-order.
I've already done a video of it, mate. Everyone knows.
That's right. Everyone knows. Okay. Sorry.
Those 6 people already know, mate, so it's fine.
Started the spiel in the wrong spot.
I did. But we have the new character kits with utilizing the fantasy tooling and the fantasy accessories.
Yeah.
In Hellfire Red, Wolf Gray,
Wilderness Brown,
Reptile Green,
and I can't even remember all this stuff. This is why I write stuff down.
It's too much. You guys you just freelance it all out.
Yeah.
I've heard it's automated. Somebody online said it was automated.
Yeah, it's a button. It's a button on Photoshop.
It was automated.
Yeah. It's like Fantasy Wave 2, press
But
button.
The computer sculpts it all for you, right? Oh, that's not how it works.
Oh, goodness me. If only they knew.
Yeah.
Fred will be excited to know his job can be automated.
Yep.
Yeah, so Fantasy Wave, what have you got in the next wave? Because I saw some sort of crazy bug-faced, kind of winged female character in there.
The fairy warrior.
Yeah.
Originally, the slot was for Twyla, who's the same fairy that comes with Darsock.
Yes.
She has not been dropped from the series.
No, we just moved her, and we decided to do an army builder fairy instead.
Yeah.
Can I just pose a question about the scale scenario there? So, would that be that you imagine her as that size as a human?
She is 4 inches tall.
Yeah, the fairy figures are 1-to-1 scale, actually.
Right, I see. So then the ones that would actually be utilized, like, in the cage, is what that's her actual size.
That's the 118.
I see. That's a really cool idea, actually. I was thinking that it was just her in a magical bigger size.
Yeah, Twyla and the fairy warriors are actually 2 inches tall, yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We actually delayed Twyla because we were standing in the hallway getting ready for this wave one day, and Andrew just kind of said, it'd be fun is if we had bug wings and bug helmets on a fairy, and we're like, that would be cool.
And then Andrew was like, I pressed the button on Photoshop, done.
Yeah.
I can walk away from this now.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
We'll have Twyla, and then the bug fairies will be like her army.
Wow. That's so cool. I mean, that was the one that stood out to me, I think. And also, like an elven queen. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, Queen Solon. She's been planned from the beginning, but she
involved a
evolved.
lot of sculpting and changed a lot over time, and so she kept kind of getting pushed back in order to get her right. Along with the female knight was the same case. They took a little bit more engineering and a little more sculpting time, and now we're ready.
Yeah, and the female knight and Queen Solon share a lot of the new parts that are coming in that wave, actually.
So cool. And all the displays look really good as well. I mean, the castle dioramas look really nice, the kind of castle ruins. That's kind of almost become your, I suppose, your signature at these conventions and shows now is having some sort of ridiculous diorama setup.
The dioramas draw attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what they're for.
Yeah.
And they're really cool, and then we get to put them in our shop or in our office and play on them.
Exactly. Yeah, the Righteous Indignation one was really cool as well. That made those Bucky and Toad figures look incredible.
Yeah, so I mean, the really cool thing about those dioramas is we sort of had a vague idea of what we wanted for them, but none of us had time to build them. So we had the really talented sculptor and designer, Joe Amaro, who we worked with a bit. He actually sculpted Bruiser.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he had done a lot of Dio stuff in the past, so we had him put those together, and he did a great job. And the cool thing was, for the Bucky one, we'd been talking back and forth about some sort of Bucky Dio idea based on that catalog photo display with Joe Harris. And so we were able to take the work that Joe Harris had already put into it and say, here's a starting point for Joe Amaro. And so both those guys contributed to that thing being so freaking awesome.
That's fantastic. And you're only hiring Joes by the sound of it.
Yep, that's right.
Got our fill of
We're
Eric's.
not making G.I. Joes anymore, but
It's only Eric's Joes. Yeah, that's it. That's cool. And that Dio was really sweet. I am expecting a full-on Righteous Indignation release in the next couple of weeks, Andrew. So if you can just hurry up and press the make the toy button on whatever laptop you're using.
I told you, if you want to write a check to pay for that development and that tooling, I'm all for it.
Okay, so moving through the hack stuff, the Series Z, guys, I mean, wow. I mean, you blew a lot of people's socks off with that Irradiated Zombie, and I'm not even kidding. That, it's become Adam's favorite figure of all time by the sound. If you listen to the recap episode we did yesterday, Justin was gushing all over it, which I told him to stop because it would ruin the paint, but he kept doing it anyway. And it's just gorgeous. And as Adam said, it's the love child of Blanca and Nickelodeon Muckman. I'm flashing up the image again because it's worth it. Take us through Series Z. Jeez.
Well, Series Z, I talked in the other podcast about how we wanted to kind of, we talked a bit about the boxers and about us, like, turning the zombie apocalypse a little bit on its ear, but, like, so the new characters we're doing the Irradiated Undead.
So cool.
He's going to be our preview figure. So the plan is for him to come a little earlier than the first wave. And as our preview figure, he's coming in a special containment unit box.
Designed by Brian Hickey, right?
Designed by Brian Hickey, and it's instead of on a card. And so the containment unit, we moved as much of our logos and stuff to the side and back.
Brilliant.
So people could put it in their dio if they want.
Oh my god, it's so good. That's such a good idea.
Nice, and it was fun, and the irradiated zombie. The idea is that he was killed in a meltdown during the apocalypse, and
he continues to clean up.
Yeah, he just continues to clean up, like pushing around a broom because he doesn't know what else to do now.
Oh, that's like really sweet and really sad at the same time.
Yeah,
he cleans up his own slime.
Yeah,
Oh, a bit of my arm's fallen off again.
He cleans up a section, then turns around, and there's more goo because of where he just walked. He's just kind of this sad, alone.
He's like the actual. He's like what Toxie would be from Toxic Crusaders, isn't he?
Well, Toxie should have been, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that's genius. I love it. And I take it Paddy's had some input in that story, has he?
A little bit, yeah. That one, he doesn't actually come with a bio. It's just kind of a preview, one-off knockout figure. So
I see.
But yeah, Paddy helps us brainstorm everything nowadays. So,
that's
but then
so
we really
funny.
go. I want a figure that looks like this, Paddy. What does it do?
Yeah, it's just it's been because the collaboration has become so simple and fast. Like I'll send him an image. And I'm like, what is this guy?
Yeah.
He's cool looking. I don't know what he is.
That's your penis, Erik.
Yeah, he named that too. And
that's also the irradiated zombie, though, isn't it?
He also he only gave it 2 potatoes though, and that's kind of sad.
2 potatoes is still pretty big. Okay, so. Okay, so yeah, I mean, let's get onto some even more cool stuff as well. I mean, you reveal, well, not necessarily revealed, but you showed off some absolutely gorgeous horses. Let's talk those horses and elks. They look fantastic. And now, what stage are we talking at the moment with those particular figures?
The ones that we were showing in color are Paintmasters still. However, I don't know how many of them were seen in photographs or videos or whatever. We had gray models there, which were actually our first samples from the factory.
Awesome.
And they are, for first samples, they are so good.
Oh, that's such good news.
We do have some comments, of course. We want to tighten some things, loosen some things, but I don't know if we've ever gotten a first sample that close to final.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of first shots and dealt with a lot of first shots in our careers, and rarely are they that close to ready soon.
If we weren't boss fight, these would have been sellable.
Yeah.
Nice. The elk as well looks absolutely stunning. And again, like for Paintmasters, they just looked spot on. And I think this line's going to be absolutely insane. Are you guys still on for, obviously with those first shots being so good? I mean, are we still on schedule? Are you ahead of schedule at this stage?
We are still currently on schedule for late summer, early fall,
Brilliant.
Barring any hiccups.
Okay. That's really quick. I mean, obviously I don't want to put the kibosh on it, but that's very, very quick turnaround on a Kickstarter, isn't it?
Well, our factory has become so reliable.
Yeah.
And they know what we'll approve and what we won't. So I think that's kind of why we see the level of first shots that we do. They know right away the comments we're going to make, and they fix a lot of them up front.
A lot of times we get the things, and they're like, "Yeah, we're already aware about this and about that."
Yeah. It comes with comments already applied.
there's always, like, our primary factory outsources to two other factories, you know, when they get overwhelmed. And one of the other factories that's like the best one that we have the least amount of problems with.
Yeah.
When they initially saw the horse, they said they wanted, like, the manager of the factory said, we want to do that one.
That's awesome.
We want to do the horse because it's so cool and fun. And it's challenge, and like that. One of the things, our factories are all pretty great. One of the things that a lot of the managers there and owners there, they kind of, even though they get frustrated with us because of our quality control, at the same time they like the challenge of doing all our stuff, and
they legitimately like our product.
Yeah, and they're so proud of the finished item.
Well, if they can show, if that can be that's a selling point for getting other, you know, people in their factory, I suppose, to use their factory, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
If they can pull off something as complex as that horse.
Yep.
And it is super complex. Like, it is the interior of it.
How were the wings on the Pegasus and the Dark Pegasus? How were they? Were they quite, you know, sturdy, or was that part of the comments?
Currently they're just stuck on with gum. So we haven't really figured out. No, actually, they post in. There's a swivel ball.
Yeah.
At the end of the wing, and it actually posts. It's got a long post, so it goes through the withers and into a frame that's on the interior of the horse.
Wow.
So they're actually, like, the horse is actually a soft sheath over this, like, support structure.
Wow.
That the legs and the wings and the neck pop into.
I feel like we're going to need like an animated 3D explanation of what you just said. Then, like,
we can do that. We have that technology.
$6 million horse coming up, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, well, let's enough of kissing boss fights the entire time on this podcast. Don't worry, there'll be more. Let's talk about some of the reveals from Toy Fair that got you guys excited that wasn't boss fight related. So,
None.
I'm starting with Andrew on this one. Was anything, and I'm looking at you in particular because I know you're a Transformers fan. I know you're you're just a fan of anything that's ever made, I think, in a toy scenario. So
You say that, but you buy even more than I do.
No, that's not true. I thought I did buy a lot of things, which I do. I do buy a lot of things, but my goodness me, until I went round your house, there were packages being delivered on an hourly basis. And I was having to sign for things. I'm like telling them I'm Andrew Franks and shipping it back home with me. What took your fancy this weekend?
It was a really impressive toy fair. There was a lot of stuff from a lot of companies that was just, you know, mind-blowingly good. You know, I think Hasbro had a really good showing with the Marvel Legends stuff with the Transformers stuff.
Yeah, that Siege stuff looks solid, doesn't it?
Oh, it's so good. Such a good line. And I'm really excited about the sort of retro-carded X-Men Marvel Legends that they've got coming up. And that has a lot more newness going on than the sort of the previous assortments of the retro-carded Marvel superheroes guys, and so that's really, really cool. I'm super excited about that 80s Dazzler.
But yeah, big time.
You know, NECA had a great showing. Tons of cool stuff there.
Did you like their idea of doing the little kind of throwback to the Kenner Aliens and Predators thing by doing newer kind of Aliens and Predators, like the Neomorph from Prometheus?
Basically doing Kenner figures.
Yeah. I thought that was really adorable.
Yeah, it's real cool. And Super 7, you know, showed a ton of great stuff.
Wow. And
I was really impressed by Mezco's entry into the retro figure market, too, with their little Kenner-styled guys. They've got a bunch of the Hanna-Barbera, classic Hanna-Barbera licenses, and I'm a total mark for those.
Yeah.
So, yeah, lots of really cool stuff.
I mean, I feel like Toy Fair is, you know, last year was fun, and like seeing all the stuff coming through last year was pretty interesting, but I felt like there was, maybe it was the fact that you guys were kind of added to it as well, you know, like the fact that you were revealing so much new stuff kind of added to the fact that, you know, this amazing show, which, like, I feel like has always been there, but I don't think has had the social media connection it has now and like the last maybe 3 or 4 years. I think it's definitely one that has been opened up to the public on the weekend, where in the past, like, you wouldn't necessarily hear or see something until like a couple of days later. Do you know what I mean? It just feels like it's evolved dramatically fast, this event.
I think that the companies, sort of large and small, are learning to use the social media tools better.
Yeah.
And this, this may be sort of some of the best utilization we've seen was probably this year. You know, there was a lot of live streaming, a lot of video interviews, a lot of good stuff.
It was great. Loads of photos as well pouring through. Toy Arc, shout out to them. They always do good stuff. And I always steal it and use it for my own nefarious purposes. Erik and Catrina, what kind of... Oh, well, let's start with you, Catrina. Was there any stuff that kind of like caught your eye while you were there? And did you get to see anything, or were you just like... Was it after the fact?
We did one day very quickly walk through maybe half of it.
Yeah,
we hit some things we wanted to hit, but it had to be fast because it's huge.
Yeah.
The couple of things that caught my eye. First, Ty vomited over the whole Javits Center.
Oh.
Every inch of it was covered in
posters
and
banners.
ads, and there were 2 Barbie banners.
Yeah.
Every other inch of the Javits was covered in Thai advertising.
Wow.
It was insane.
Babies are back.
There was a marching band. They were parading kids through. We can't figure out what for yet still. It was insane. Every time there was something crazy going on, it was something to do with Thai.
So they're bringing Beanie Babies back.
Yeah. They have some sort of sequence-covered fashion line.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that first... It was hard not to notice that. There was a company who was literally selling string to play cat's cradle with.
Bloody hell.
Here's a bag of yarn.
Yeah, not even a bag, a string.
Almost as good as Pet Rocks. That's pretty impressive.
And it was called Strings with a Z. So,
oh, street strings. That's even better.
But on the impressive side, Andrew already mentioned Super 7, which I think probably had the most impressive showing of the whole show. I think in quality, in variety.
I'm really impressed with them.
Yeah, they're super, super nice, too. They came down and talked to us really for about 2 hours. They loved our stuff, and they gave us a lot of advice. So they were really great. Also, the one of the other really impressive things, the 6-inch soft goods that Mezco is doing.
Yeah.
So good. Like, I don't even know how it was accomplished. It has to be hand sewn onto the figures. It is so, so good.
Who's doing the Bob Ross? Is that NECA or is that Mezco?
Well, the Bob Ross is NECA. Yeah, that's their sort of ego-esque line.
Yeah, my bad. I wasn't sure if that was Mezco or not.
Mezco had, what did they have? A Joker and a Catwoman, Green Lantern.
Yeah, they have a couple of Green Lanterns and I think a Flash. And
it was flawless. A couple of them I looked at and I couldn't even believe they were soft goods. They were just that well done.
Yeah, that's awesome. Any for you, Erik?
You know, there was a lot. I'll go a little more specific on what people are doing, like the Mezco Addams Family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited about that. That is exactly how I think Addams Family needs to be done.
Sort of a heartbreaking thing, because we would have liked to have done that one.
Yeah, Addams Family is one of my personal favorite things in entertainment history. I'm a huge Charles Addams fan, and seeing... And Mezco wasn't the only one doing Addams Family stuff. There was a lot. There was a lot of Addams Family stuff style. There were like statues, and there were plush. Yeah, and I was like, wow, that finally the Addamses are getting some recognition. I was very happy about that.
Even like a Halloween village, similar to like the Christmas house village.
Yeah, but it was like the mansion. And
so we're not gonna get Addams Family hacks in series A is what you'd have to call it.
And I don't see how we would do it better than
Mezco's doing exactly what we would have wanted to do.
Yeah, Mezco's got it covered. The Super 7 was probably who I was most impressed with, just the craziness of their line and the randomness. But like my favorite things that they had there were the carded 5-point Transformers.
Yeah, they're cute.
Like the Bumblebee and the Optimus Prime.
Did you see the RoboCop lineup as well?
Yeah, the RoboCop lineup, the the guy that gets Toxic Wasted and the,
exactly, Emil Antonovsky. Not just that, but I'd buy that for $1, which I completely forgot to mention. I forgot to mention him on the previous episode, so I'm saying it now.
So it's so funny, and the movie Masters of the Universe, I can't believe they're making those. That's nuts.
And how gorgeous! I had some real close-up images of those, and I'm like, they have got his muscle tone completely spot on all over his body. It's incredible. Even his stance is exactly as it was in the film. And Karg and the gold Skeletor. Oh my god!
The gold Skeletor is the best.
Forget it. Game over. You're gonna have to shut up shop now, guys. Sorry.
The most exciting thing for me, I think, was the DC Collectibles wrestling DC Universe figures.
Nice.
Oh, so good.
Oh, so good and so fun. And see, when we got up to them in person and actually looked at them, I was like, these are fantastic. And I don't buy a lot of stuff anymore, especially a lot of DC collectible figures. To buy, 6 figures is a lot of money. I say that, but it's really not much more than our figures. But I don't pay for ours, so.
If you can just steal them, right?
I'm totally in for those. It's just too fun.
Amazing. So, okay, just one last thing I want to pose to you guys, and I want to kind of do it in a shock, put you on the spot kind of scenario. You very recently, have revealed some sort of hint that you're doing something related to WWE that is also part of Loot Crate, or is it Slam Crate that they do?
It's called Slam Crate.
So, what can you tell us? I know you probably can't tell us any more than you've even posted or spoken to online, but
nothing, not a word.
We can't tell you anything.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not our product to reveal.
Yeah. Things will be revealed soon. We work with Logan Libera a lot at Loot Crate on smaller things, and that's great. And we actually like working with Loot Crate quite a bit. They're pretty great, and
awesome.
Logan's amazing. And it was a great opportunity when they came to this is a much bigger thing than anything we've done for them.
Wow.
And when he came to us, it was a good opportunity and a good experience, and it was something that, being connected to a WWE product in any way is good, because it's such a big brand. And
exposure, right?
We're getting paid in 6 exposures.
But seriously, that's a huge platform.
It's gonna be cool, and it's gonna be, and the stuff is looking fantastic. So
wow.
But other than that, we can't say, and we can't.
It's not.
We can't even
hacks.
tell you what it is. Yeah, it's not hacks.
Okay.
That's
everybody
ours.
that's getting overexcited. It's not hacks.
Yes.
That's not a problem. I think it would have been, if I hadn't have mentioned it, people would have been like, why didn't you ask them about that? And now I can say I've asked them about it.
That's fine.
So, you. I've said it now. So that was aimed at you guys, not at the listeners. I'm just kidding. Okay, guys, thank you so much for jumping on to chat. I know we've gone too long now, because you've only just got back and you probably absolutely destroyed. It's been one hell of a weekend for you. Just before we go, are you guys happy with how it all went?
We are extremely happy and a little bit terrified of the next couple of years, because it went
so well.
Yeah.
Good.
It may mean faster expansion than we
were
expected. Planning. Yeah.
We can handle it, but it's the next step is a little bit out of our
This is the fault. This is the tipping point right here, isn't it?
It absolutely was.
It seems like it's going to be over the next couple of months, as we kind of settle into what we take and what we say no to,
agreements with buyers and distributors.
And it's everything. It's
across the board. We talked to some amazing licensors who are really interested. We talked to distribution around the world. We talked to retailers that we never would have expected to be interested in our product.
Yeah.
It's a little bit scary.
We talked to licensors that we never expected.
Who came to us, who came looking for us.
Yeah, who came looking for us, and it was stuff that was has been on our wish list.
Top 5 list.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's,
and I don't even know about all these yet.
Yeah.
So
Andrew,
they
Andrew,
still have to tell
Right
me.
now.
Andrew
we
needs to be
haven't-
debriefed, and I don't mean you to take his pants off.
Yep.
Well, that's how we start.
That's how every meeting starts. Isn't it? Well, I'm absolutely stoked for you guys. I can't wait to hear about all this extra new stuff and also all the other cheeky things that you can't talk about yet. I can't wait for those to be revealed too. Guys, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Go yourself. I'm kidding. I was expecting that. I was like
You said
that.
that I started yawning.
Like a really big gap, and then go yourself, McLeod. That's what I was expecting. But anyway, thank you guys. Much appreciated. We'll have you back on soon to chat about everything else, obviously. That's it for this instalment of the Full Force News Burst. Thank you to my awesome guests, Catrina, Erik, and Andrew from Boss Fight Studio. See you next time, and as always, full horse and everything else that Boss Fight do. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of these platforms with feedback, questions or to say, who do you think you are? A serious operation now? No, not even close. Look out for more of these news bursts that we are posting on the Facebook page from now on. Full Force.